Well, my oldest is transgender, as you know.
Right.
And he just got the top surgery where they take off the...
Now, he was born a she.
Yes.
And decided to become a he.
Yes.
So what does that entail? All right, you get like a mastectomy?
They take testosterone and they grow facial hair and, it's just like the whole Chaz Bono thing.
How does that affect the parent? How does that affect you? Like,
I'm fine, dude. I don't really, just be happy. I don't care. I mean,
I checked out years ago. Basically what he's saying.
Well,
it's first of all, fantastic follow-up question, right? And here's this big bad wolf, Anthony Cumia, that's been attacking his kids forever, sitting here having an actual discussion with him at a point where I don't think anybody would think Anthony would have a discussion about this on his show. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And he's interested. He wants to know, so he's interviewing him about it. And of course, John knows nothing, about what he's talking. Testosterone, beard, that's what it sums up to. That's what it comes up to for him. It's not about, well, this is a thing that they've felt their entire life and blah, blah, blah. He doesn't tell the story. He doesn't set it up. Why bring it up? Because it's a status thing for him. That's all it ever was.
Yeah, but why do you think that is, that he doesn't really know the intricacies of what his son went through?
Because he doesn't care.
Right. And
he doesn't care.
He wasn't there. He had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
And when he says, it doesn't bother me, I don't really care.
I don't believe that.
Really means. Right.
We've seen that a lot.
Yeah. I listen to the way he insults people. Listen to the way he talks. That from that mentality, what his oldest was feeling and went through is not a stand up and applaud moment if you're John, with that mentality.
Right.
He sees it as embarrassing. He sees it as he sees it as a negative.
Right. It doesn't look good for him.
Like take your opinion, whether you know somebody or take all that shit out of the way. This is about a parent and a child, and your child coming to you and saying whatever it is they need to say about how they feel, why they're not feeling, and what they think or what they want to do to make them feel better. All that shit. It doesn't have to be this specific issue. But as a parent, in my opinion, is you invest 100% into that kid, that situation, that issue, and try and figure something out. Mm-hmm. That was the answer of a guy who just said, "Yeah, do whatever you want later."
Whatever.
I love my parents, but they were tapped out by the time I was coming up. They didn't give a fuck. So
right, and your dad, you would call you a little girl anyway.
Yeah,
so that was probably you're confused.
Let me tell you something. These tits get any bigger, I'm lopping them off. I'll tell you that. This is embarrassing.
I DM'd that to Janet, and she was like, "Yeah, get rid of those tits."
But again, all with all this that we're hearing, kudos to Aaron for stepping in and really being supportive and being a fucking go-to in a situation that he came into, man, just not blind, but nobody's prepared for that.
Right.
For that scene that this guy left behind,
I have it's obvious that John couldn't be bothered with any of that stuff.
Correct.
He's too much into himself. And again, the trans thing, would he feel that way if trans was such a positive thing in the entertainment industry right now? Would John be putting it out there that his kid's trans, or would it be more something that he'd be ashamed of? I'm curious to wonder.
Let me ask you this question, hypothetical. Let's say John doesn't have a trans kid. Okay. Let's say John has 2 kids, 3 kids, everything's, whatever. Let's say Karl has a kid that's trans. let's say one of my oldest is trans. How do you think John would handle that? If everything was the same as we are right now, but the trans roles were reversed, what do you think he'd be doing on his show? What do you think he'd be talking about?
They'd finally get to use those trans jokes he had written for his kid.
Right. So,
he'd probably have a voice for it, some sort of, because he's got one for Karl. Just do it.
Yep.
You might have one for your trans kid if you had a trans kid.
Yeah. He maybe he'd do a little picture with a mouth cut out.
Suppose that's possible.
Sure, anything is.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for watching that clip. We got a bunch more stuff from a bunch of different other shows. So if you want to support us, you want to be a part of what's happening here, subscribe, notify, and get yourself a membership. 2 levels, $5, $10. We got more bonus shows than we know what to do with. So help us out. Get in here.